What's up everybody, CrowdDog here. Going to work on a washing machine today. Going to show how to repair it. So I'm just going to take you through the steps that I go through. I'm using a Kenmore washing machine. I'll provide the model number as well as other information in the description for this video. So let's get started. I've had this washing machine for about 6, 7, maybe 8 years, and it's been working fine up until a couple days ago. And what's going on is the drum is not spinning, the agitator is not spinning. What I need to do is take the housing off of the washing machine and replace a coupling between the motor and the transmission. Let me just give you a demonstration about what I'm talking about. So let me put this on spin, and we're just going to press the button here to simulate the lid being closed, and you'll hear the motor running, but you won't see anything turning. So I think that's where the problem lies. So let's do this. You'll hear the water pump and the motor running or spinning, but yet nothing's turning. So what I'm going to do is turn the water off. Then unplug the washer and disconnect the water hoses from the back of the washer. That way we don't have water all over the floor. And then plus I'm going to also put a bucket in here, and then I'll go ahead and unplug it and move it out of this room so I can have more room to work. So I've taken off the end caps on each side to reveal a screw here that I'll remove on each side, and I think that should allow me to move the control panel back up off the housing to get to some more brackets that are right under here. Once you remove the screws, the back just pops up and then slides over the back side. Show you something on the back of this washer. There's a little plastic clip. I can show you right there on the back side of each corner of the washing machine that has a little plastic strip that connects to the panel that holds it in place while it's tilted back like that. If I can show you that. See that little panel connects to that little plastic strip right there. Now I'm going to disconnect the power connector or switch that runs to the door button. To do that, there's a little plastic clip right here. You have to pry that up off of this piece here. There's no piece of plastic, and then it slides right off of the power connection. Now I'm going to take my flathead screwdriver and pop off these clips. There's a little overhang down in there. You stick your screwdriver in the flat blade and just pull forward, and it pops it off. Did it on both sides. These are the clips that come out of the little holes there. This side sticks back in here. This little groove right here. When you go to put it back together, you just push it down and it pops in place. Once you get that off, the frame just pull up and back away from the back of it towards you, and it comes right off the frame. And this is what it looks like. It's years and years of kicked on gunk. And then here in a minute we'll get into working on that piece. I've got the washing machine tilted back against the table. One thing to note is the back of the washing machine is just a real flimsy sheet metal. So when you go to lean the washing machine back to put it at an angle, don't do it by the back of the washing machine. I would suggest picking it up from the bottom by the frame there and tilting it back, because this is real flimsy and it will probably fold or dent, and then that's going to cause a misalignment with your control panel to the housing. So just be careful when you're leaning it back that you don't bend this. So I can get to the pieces down here. This is the water pump, the motor, and then under here, I don't know how easy it's going to be to see, but there is a piece right here. That's the piece I'm going to be replacing. It's called the coupling, and it connects the motor to the transmission, and it's what provides the torque to turn the tub. So now I'm going to take this off by removing these clips, popping them off, and then pulling them out from right back in there. It's actually connected to the motor. Then there's clips here that I'll take the screw out that hold the motor on in place. Then I'll pull the motor out, and then we can check the couplings to see if that's actually what the problem is. Also, I'll need to pull out this power connector too before I take the motor out. So pop the clips off, and you can see that's where they just slide in there, and then you turn them to put them back in place. And this is the water pump that actually connects to the spindle here for the motor. It also turns the pump to suck the water out of the tub. Then I've also disconnected power connector. Now I'm going to remove this screw and this screw and pop off those hinges. And at that point, the motor should drop down and I can check the couplings. Okay, these are the long hinges or braces that hold the motor in place. You can see I've got the motor off, and this is the back side of the motor that goes into the coupling. And there's the coupling there. And it looks like it is cracked or broke. Like right there. Yeah, it's cracked. So that's keeping the motor from turning the transmission because it can't get a good connection to provide the torque through the coupling. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out. Okay, so I've removed the coupling. This is just the bond between each bracket, so it'll fit in there like that on one side, and then the other side will fit in the opposite holes. You can see this one's completely busted. If you look at this one here, I noticed that this appears to be some stressing, cracking starting to take place right there. This is what looks like to be a line started. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace both sides, even though this side is still functioning fine for now. I'm just going to go ahead and replace both sides. This is the piece, by the way, cost about $5.50, and it's a lot cheaper, a whole lot cheaper, than paying hundreds of dollars for a brand new washing machine or someone to come out and fix it. When you can do this yourself with a Phillips head screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, and a pair of channel locks or pliers. It'll take you maybe an hour to take it apart, put it back together, and save yourself a lot of money. This is the replacement part. It's a guaranteed appliance replacement part. Is what GARP stands for, a guaranteed appliance replacement part. It's part number 285753. And looks like this will also work with Chef, Maytag, Roper, and Whirlpool. So let's go ahead and get this open and start putting the washing machine back together. So this is the part. It's already put together in the package, exactly like the part I showed earlier where I took it off. So it's the same on both sides, so it doesn't really matter which side goes in first. So let's, if I can get around the water pump there, let's try to put this in place. Slide. The part does not just slide on real easily. You have to kind of press it on there and make sure it goes back up on the shaft of the transmission. So just make sure you got it good and secure on there, and then we're going to put the motor on. One thing to note is you may want to line up the hole so that the straight edges are on the sides on like a 12 o'clock position. And then also line up the motor piece the same way. I took a piece of rope and to secure back the water pump so that it's out of the way and not dangling in front of you. So you may also want to do the same thing. There's a little hole right here on the chassis that you can tie it off with, and then you can put the other end into one of the clamps for the hose. It's easier if you put the bottom bracket on first and snap it in place, and then you can put the top one on, and it's a little easier that way. You want to make sure that the shaft from the motor is in the hole for the transmission as well. There it is installed, and you should be able to turn it with your hand. Now we'll connect the power cable to the motor. Okay, so now I'm going to put the housing back on and give it a test run before I connect everything back up. Just want to make sure that it spins like it's supposed to, and before I put it back in place. And you want to make sure that you get the lip of the housing underneath the frame of the washing machine so that it is securely in place. These are the clips that come out of the little holes there. This side sticks back in here. This little groove right here. When you go to put it back together, you just push it down and it pops in place. So you want to now put your screws back into the panel on both sides. And then you want to pop your end caps back in place. So now we have the washer back in place, and I'm going to show now that it will go into spin. And it's working great, pretty much like a new washing machine. Just finished washing a load and looks good.